Say on streets.
Our streets.
Say on streets. And main it.
Right.
Main it. Whose streets?
Our streets.
Word on the beat, word on the beat, word on the beat.
Time after time after time after time after time after time after
What up? It's your boy Baz, and you tuned in to Ian's podcast. Today, this episode is going to be a little special one. Today, we're going to be more so harping on, overcoming your situation, but also inspiring. Like, whenever it comes down to creating a good brand, or just creating a good company, or creating that good following if you're an artist, or if you're an entertainer, it all starts with the ability to inspire. And a lot of times people feel inspired by your story, your movement, that they feel like they can relate to. So one gentleman in particular I know personally, he's been helping me out with my process, is a guy that goes by the name of, is his actual name, it's Will Wallace. He runs the North 4 program on the north side of Minneapolis, which help at-risk and young males that are going through certain challenges that are from the area or reside in the area. Basically, he helped give them the tools, the guidance, and the resources, to make the best out of their situation, but also gaining professional skills and, learning accountability and basically having somebody hold them to the standard of being a man, but also treating them as such and giving them the blueprint. Now, his story, his story is very unique. Grew up, he was in the streets, man, gang member, man, traveled around, he even did time, and he always shares stories about what he went through and how the people around him are either going through it or have went through it, and how it affected him and, how it motivated him. Now, let me remind you, he's dealing with at-risk kids, and this is also a black man. So with the kids of the community, which is predominantly all black, it resonates with them. And then that's one of the key things where we go back to saying, if you have a brand or a company, you have to inspire. So personally, a few things that I got from talking to him was like, damn, after listening to his stories, he talked about how he did, prison time and how basically he was on a path of destruction, which a lot of people from his era, they really ain't make it back from, man. That era took a lot of lives. A lot of black folks right now are in the grave or in the prison system due to their actions that they made as a youth when they didn't have as much guidance and they was growing up in poverty, but, drug dealing and, the street life was their escape. And he basically, he used his story to kind of help guide, his cohorts. But in all, the reason why I'm sharing this story is because he inspires. His story is inspiring because he talks to you in the sense of relatable. You feel me? And then once he actually shares, hey, I'm talking about, man, like, you wouldn't even think he as old as what he say he is. Because you would think, going through all that throughout his life, that level of stress take a toll on your body. Like, you see young cats out here that's stressed out their damn mind, and they look about fucking 40. You look at this gentleman, you probably have a little bit of a hard time kind of guessing how old he truly is. But another thing is, like, he had shared with me earlier today is, like, how he's a motivational speaker and, guest speaker. But it was more so of what kept him going. Like, he literally came in off the road at 3 a.m., got a couple hour nap, and it was right back to the grind. Because to him, he was like, it's more important than just him. You know? And when people say that, a lot of times it takes the action for people to actually understand what you mean by that. You know? And to see the way he cares for the young gentleman that joined his cohorts and how he established a long-term relationship with these young men, it also makes me inspired on a different level. His story is inspiring, but also the actions. So your actions should also inspire individuals as well. And what I mean by that is, like, it's always good to say, hey, how you doing, how you doing, how you doing? But when you happen to pop up on that friend when they having a bad day, they be like, damn, like, my dude done came through for me. Or, you know, like, people remember that, you know, and they feel inspired to keep that relationship or keep certain things going. So going back into, you know, his whole story, and why I titled this and made this more so about being inspired is because at some point, if you're not from these type of environments, or if you are from these type of environment, at some point you come across a time in life where you're gonna either have to say, "Hey, you feel me? Fuck it, it is what it is. I'm taking whatever come with this shit," and you're gonna keep down that same path, no matter if it leads to destruction and you see it, or you're gonna go against the grain, which may be your social norm. What social norm means, like, which is the norm inside your environment, and bite the bullet and try to do something different. And you're gonna receive a lot of backlash because people fear what they don't understand. So at first, you know, everybody won't be inspired. And he shared that, like, you know, for someone else that was closest to him, he tried to share his ideas and his visions, and it wasn't being received the way he wanted to, you know, like, because of uh, the pre-existing relationships or the pre-existing, actions that took place. But later on down the line, you know, certain individuals, you know, like, we are human, we come back around. And some of us, we come around for the first time. And we initially are inspired, but for some of us, it takes for us to see, like, damn, like, your happiness, you benefiting from these choice of actions. And it kind of inspire others to kind of want to do the same, like, damn, I was really doubting you. Or like, damn, I wasn't really fucking with the movement, or like, you know, but now I do. I see, like, damn, like, I wasn't even fucking with you. You kept going, types, you know, like that type of stuff. Like, I wasn't even messing with you back then, and wasn't nobody really messing with you. We all thought that you was just, you know, had just crazy with an idea that, like, we didn't even think that you was gonna follow through with. Then your actions showed, and your actions end up inspiring, because once you follow through and you stick with it, and people see that smile on your face that comes from you doing what you do, it starts to become contagious. Like I said in the previous episode, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. You know, and this is a dude that, you know, I reach out to all the time, you know, to share his wisdom and to share his own testimony that, you know, to help me get through what I'm going on, especially embarking on this journey, building brands and trying to build a company, and coming from, you know, a certain type of background where this isn't normal. So you don't have too many people to reach out to, because this is all new to them. They looking at me like, you know, you supposed to be telling me what you supposed to do next. You know, so it's always good to have somebody like that in your corner. And when I hear his stories, I become more inspired. I remember, like, the first orientation, just sitting down and just really get to knowing all the guys in the cohort and just getting to know him in general. And he was just sharing his story, like how he came down this path, and certain things that people that are close to him are going through, and how he don't want them to end up in that same route, because he understands what that lifestyle brings, the pain, the suffering. And he basically, like, you can hear it in his voice, like, he commanded the respect and the attention, because he's like, I'm serious, you know. So I looked at that, and the same thing, like, when I go into certain meetings or when I speak, let people feel where you're coming from. They don't have to necessarily touch you. They don't have to actually be there. But people can feel your emotion when you talk. And that makes them feel as if they were there. Or it takes them to a place where they may have experienced the same. And if you standing before them, I know for me coming up where I'm from, it's rare if you live to make it to 21. Let alone 25. So a lot of adults, they get kind of confused. Like, damn, like, what's next? I know it's supposed to be something next, but I didn't even expect to make it this far. And now I have made it this far. Damn, what's next? You know? And him talking and, like, you know, giving that advice, it kind of opened my life to, like, you know, like, don't fear change. Be inspired by it. Because change might bring a better version of you. And sometimes to get to that better version of you, the old you has to be destroyed. Or the image of you has to be destroyed. That old image of you has to be destroyed. You are still the same person. You have grown, but the image that people may perceive you as has to be destroyed. You know, like, you got to pick between which one you want to be. And I had to find that out, like, do I want to be, you know, like a guy from the hood? Or do I want to be CEO Bass that came from the hood? You know? So I say that to you if you are creating a brand, or if you are, you know, trying to figure out what role you should play in your relationships, or if you're trying to start a company and you like, man, like, how I'm going to do this. First, be inspired. Identify what inspires you to do it, and identify, you know, like, why people should be inspired by your product or your service. Share that story, that testimony, you know, because it all comes back. People are inspired by your truths. You know, the glitz and the glamour, that fades off. You know, you can only inspire a gold digger for so long, into somebody else with a big wad of money. But that little kid that watched you growing up, you know, work that 9 to 5, or, you know, try to, you know, start that company up, then he see you pull up, you know, in a brand new car, you know, or he just see you do something and he's inspired. For the rest of his life, he might come back up to you when he's 40, 50 or something, you know, like 40, you know, older gentleman, you know, doing what he loves to do, and let you know that, hey, this started because you shared your word, because I seen you doing this, or when I seen you, like, buy this, or when I seen you do this, I was like, I want to do that too. So I went out there and I seen what it took to get it done, and I did it. You know, like, those what the type of stories you should look for. You know, transactions are going to come, but the brands, the companies, you know, the people that stay around are those who inspire you in your life. But that's all I got for you here today. You know, take these words, and hopefully you will run with it. Hopefully these words have inspired you. You know, so tune in to the next episode. This your boy Baz, and you're listening to N's Podcast. And we out.